What's up, you guys? It's your favorite spiritual social worker here. Okay, I need all my future LSWs, LMSWs, or LCSWs to come to the front. If you are preparing to take your ASWB exam sometime in 2026, you need to pay attention to this video, okay? Because I'm going to get ready to tell you some of the changes that are happening to the exam that you're going to need to know, because you're going to need to know the changes so you can pass this thing, because I believe in you. I know you're going to pass. Okay, y'all. So the ASWB is reorganizing their exam content. The reason why is because a lot of times when people were taking this exam, we were like, this shit ain't real life. I remember when I was taking the exam, I was like, I know this is the right answer, but I wouldn't do this in real life. So they made changes to the exam so it can reflect more of what we do day to day. So one of the first changes is that they're taking the big four content areas and they're consolidating them to three. And it's basically just to make the test less repetitive. So here are the four old exam content areas: human development and behavior in the environment, assessment, diagnosis, and treatment planning, psychotherapy, clinical interventions, and case management, and then your professional values and ethics. The new content areas are human development, diversity, and behavior in the environment. So the content in this area is still theory based, but it applies to more real life clients. The second new content area is assessment, intervention planning, and implementation. This is the part of the exam that you will see a lot of those "what would you do next" questions, but now you're going to see more scenario based questions in this area. The third section is professional values, ethics, and responsibility. It used to be ethics was like one section, and now they have woven all of this section throughout the entire exam. The second big change that's going to happen on the exam is that they're shifting more towards applied knowledge. So it used to be the KSAs, and that would stand for knowledge, skills, and ability. But now it's going to be applied knowledge statement. So this is focusing more on how you apply the knowledge versus just straight recall. The next big change is that values and ethics are going to have a way larger weight than previously. So look for more scenarios that's going to ask you what's the most ethical option to choose. The next change is that there are going to be fewer questions overall. Currently, the number of questions are 150, and then you have 20 that are pretest questions, which they kind of test for future exams. In 2026, there's going to be 110 questions with only 12 pretests, but you still have the same 4-hour time limit. Also, in 2026, you're going to see more 3-option answers, and that's just to kind of like streamline the exam. If you didn't already know, back in March of 2025, ASWB went back to the Pearson Testing Center. They switched briefly to PSI testing centers back in 2021, but there were too many complaints. People were complaining that there were too many glitches happening, that there were scheduling problems, and it was just problems across the board. These changes are scheduled to take place in August of 2026. If you plan to take the test before August 2026, it's going to be in the current format, but you still have more of the 3-option questions. So if you plan on taking the exam August 2026 and beyond, your study needs to focus on practice judgment, ethics, and clinical reasoning. Let's dispel the talks about being able to take the ASWB at home. There were talks about doing something like this when COVID was around, but they couldn't really solidify a way to do it securely in a way that it would be standardized across the nation. At this time, that is not an option. If you're getting ready to take your test, comment below and let me know when. And if you already have passed, offer the newbies some advice. See you later.